Oh, trying to get everything situated. I thought I might be starting a little bit late, but I'm going to go ahead and start it. Make sure I got everything I need here. It's a little warm in here. I should have the door open, but I don't want to do that just yet because I might jump on this little small drum kit that Mike Maranatha sent me a few months ago. But I see that it looked like somebody was watching, but I had came into my own, after I scheduled it, I went into the app and was looking in there so I could go in this chat and type in my Cash App and everything. So that being said, it might have just not unregistered yet. Like when I backed out, it might have still been showing myself, watch myself. What you doing, bitty bitty? Let's see here. Oh, baby. Is your bitty? Yeah. Oh, bitty. Is your booty bitty? What you doing, bitty? Yeah. He's a good girl. Good girl. Yeah. He's a good girl. Yeah, my baby. You the new big in chief, Charles. You're the big queen now. You're the queen lady now. Yes, you are. It's just me and you right now. Unless you are carrying, I think you might be carrying, might be having a litter in a little while, a few months. They put some more of that flea and tick medicine on you. That stuff from the dollar store don't work too well. Hold on a minute here. Okay, let's see. You the beady. Okay, back up, baby. Back up. I'm gonna try to do a little beat for a minute. Like, I prefer to have my shoes off, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna leave them on. I went walking earlier, and then also, if I got to get up and wander outside, or if somebody pulls up and honks their horn because they want me to come out and get whatever they got for me or whatever's going on. Okay. Oh, hey, Bleed Blue. I hadn't seen you in a while. I haven't been on live since last week, and then last week only did a couple of lives. Sorry that I was jamming there. Oh, this kit, I don't know if you can tell. It's a tiny. It's a little drum. It's a little kids kit. See how it's all like. Because you only got that one tom. This is the snare, one little cymbal, but Mike Marinetta sent that through Amazon to me a couple of months ago. Not sure if you know who Mike is, but Mike Marinetta, is on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel, and he is like a Christian mystic rapper or hip hop / kind of alternative. Cause most of it's hip hop, but it's all positive, mindset, Christian mystical stuff like. So it's not just typical Christian stuff, it's like kind of mind expansion thoughts and stuff. But yeah, he does music, hip hop and all that, and he's a very positive dude. Been knowing him since last year, a year and a half ago or whenever, and got to know him pretty well. But anyway, a while back he hit me up and said, he texted me and said, hey, give me your address and I want to send you something sometime. And then he did what he could. He said, I couldn't he wanted to, if he could have afforded it, he was going to try to get me like a digital, I can do it sometime. I just need to get my shit together. Like I still kind of in the same place I was a year ago. Well, no, I'm a little bit better off, but I did just come out of a funk. And then as long as you've been watching me, you've probably seen me be that way several different times. Like sometimes I'm doing really good and sometimes, but I think most people are like that in life. So, but I kind of delved off into a little dark place for a couple of weeks and it didn't it was like stuck in my head and everything. And so I kind of got out of sync. At first I just was enjoying not worrying about going live because I was doing a live stream almost every day. And then sometimes 3 times a day. And then I just kind of stopped worrying about going live every day. And then after so many days, it became more of it wasn't me just enjoying the day. It was me just neglecting it. And so I'm trying to get back. Like last week, I started back doing some live streams and then a couple of days. And this week so far, really, this is the first one. But, life's it's always from one day to the next, it's rare that I have, I'll have periods where there's a whole stream of good days, and that might be months in a row. But then you also will come to a plateau where, hey, what's up, Gideon? Yeah, after you commented about being on a live stream, and then I haven't done one since last week. And then last week only did 2. I was telling Gideon, I was saying to Bleed Blue, I don't know if he's still tuning in. He might be. Sometimes, what it'll show as how many people watching isn't always necessarily true. Sometimes it'll show less than who has actually got their eyeballs on here. So, since you missed it for a second, let me kick you a little beat out real quick while you're here. I don't want you to get in trouble if you're at work. Hold on a second there. Now, this is just a little kid's kit. I was telling Bleed Blue asked where I got it, and Mike Marinetta, you can go find him on YouTube. He's a Christian mystic hip hop artist. Does a little bit of alternative rock stuff too. He's got a couple of songs, Oh, okay. Okay, you're on lunch. Okay, I was just going to play a little, it's just a little kid's kit, but Mike Marinetta had this sent to me a couple months ago. You might have done seen me play it a little bit on the shorts and stuff. Anyway, I was just, okay.
So I was just, because you just popped in right before you got on, I'd started the stream, and within like a minute or two of being started, I pulled the drums up and started. I just busted out a couple little beats, and then I noticed Bleed Blue was here, and Bleed Blue asked where'd I get them, and I was explaining that to him. So I'm just kind of catching anybody up. And like I'm not like I've never been like a really really good like technical drummer. I'm just kind of like I've got one kind of style and I know how to keep time, but as far as like going outside of certain, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like I love all kinds of music, but I never took the time to like discipline myself to learn a lot of different other stuff other than just some basics. And then I was into some, heavy bands and shit, and then I'd play like around with people just jamming on whatever they jam out. I never really did covers either. I just always wrote, you know what I mean? I just play music. I just play the drums. Someone would be playing the guitar, and if we clicked, they'd write riffs, I'd write beats, or I'd put beats to their riffs. We'd all interject with the writing words if we had, and usually bands I was in, we'd share vocals. It wasn't just one particular person doing it all. I've always been more partial to that. Like, I don't mind. I like a good lead man. Like, I like bands with lead vocalists and stuff, especially, because sometimes when you watch, well, anyway, you know how like if you'd seen a while back, I was always just using my drumsticks, beating on a bucket or on a storage tub. Well, Mike Marinetta caught me a couple of times doing that on a live stream and stuff, and like he'd comment on some of my videos I'd share me doing that. And like I said, he hit me up a few months ago and asked me for my address, and then 1 week, it went by a few weeks, and all of a sudden he's like, "Hey man, I'm sending you something. It'll be there on this day. Like, look for it," and it showed up a big old box, and I figured it had something. I was thinking it would be a book or something, maybe, or something inspirational like that. And then I thought, well, it could have something to do with music, but I don't know what it would be. Like I know it couldn't be, but like I didn't ever think about like a little, because I think when I looked these up, they probably vary in different prices, but on Amazon, I think the going rate's about $89 to $99, and it probably goes up and down. But if you had it's definitely, I would say if I had a kid and they were interested in playing drums, it would be definitely a good starter piece probably. Just for someone, just to see and it came with a stool too. There's a little stool also, but the stool is kind of too small for me, because it's meant for someone that's only like half my size. I'm really surprised at how well it sounds. Especially the snare drum. Now I could tighten it up a little. And I don't play them like I go through. Like last week, I wasn't doing a lot of messing around with anything creative. I barely got videos up last week. There was a couple of days I missed recording and just going through a little bit of a rough, patch. But also sometimes I just be mindful of I don't want to just start like this drum kit can't be that loud. That I've never asked anybody to like come in here and hit on it and me go outside and see what it sounds like. I'm sure, like if I had a full size drum kit and I was beating the hell out of it in here, it's definitely going to be louder. You know what I mean? That being said, as long as you're playing during the day at certain hours, nobody can really say anything. Like I would never play after dark or anything like that, just because. Now, like, you can even play, like, if you were practicing music and stuff, you can even play up to a certain time before they consider it being, you know, like if you were in a place where you're practicing in that room, you'd have up to a certain time in the evening to practice until really someone could technically call the law. I mean, the law might be able to be called and they come and they just tell you to turn it down, but then after a certain time, it can become a problem. And I see somebody else might have tuned in too. Hey, Michael. How's it going, Michael? I'm trying to remember if I've seen you pop up in a chat or not before, and that you'll have to forgive me if I haven't ever. If you've been in my chats on a live stream at some point, because there's been quite over the since last year to this year, and I have done more live streams. Although this past week I haven't been. The past couple of weeks I toned it down, and then I went through a little period where, like after I got out of the habit of it, dude, of doing it like pretty much every day. And then I slowed down and was like, hey, take care of yourself. And then I found it harder and harder to get back into doing live stream. And then I kind of got depressed. I went through like kind of a dark place. And so now I'm just trying to get my ass out of my head. Or I mean, my head out of my ass. And I'm trying to mix things up. I didn't know. I'm just going live to... once again, I'm not using Restream or StreamYard right now because I didn't know how long I'll be on here, and I only use those if I want to invite people to be guests. And so, like, I don't want to have someone else come on from another channel, or even if you're not on it, even if you don't have a channel and you came on here as a guest and we're just talking split screen, I don't want to invite somebody or give that opportunity unless I'm going to be here, you know, for a little while. Like, if we knew someone wanted to come on, I'd want to at least stream for an hour. And, but a lot of times I stream an hour anyway or longer. Especially if people show up and are starting to interact with me. I'm going to burn a little sage, guys. When I seen the name Michael, I almost thought it might be my friend. But I remember Mike Hernandez don't really talk to me now. So I think I blocked his number the other day because I was like, what's the point in me having his number if he doesn't ever want to talk to me and won't ever associate with me no more. But yeah, I knew I still had his number because twice since he stopped talking to me, he's texted me on Christmas and something else. Thanksgiving and Christmas, or Christmas and Easter. And that's all. He just say happy Easter, Merry Christmas. And guys, feel free to bring up a topic if you have anything on your mind. Sorry to hear that about, well, you know, like, I can understand work not probably liking. I know at some point, Gideon, you did used to watch sometimes and was at work a lot. And I think Bleed Blue a lot of times, and I don't know if Bleed Blue has been here, but he was here earlier. He's a moderator. Hadn't seen him in a while, but he pops in. Usually if it's this time of day and I'm live streaming, he's in here, he's probably at work too. And he's, every time I ever remember, the only times he really wasn't at work were when he caught me, like if I'd be streaming in the evening. Now, this being said, yeah, I don't think it's probably that loud. But even on this, like, you know, after 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I probably wouldn't mess around on this little kid. I'm not really beating him that hard. Now, like if I had my door open, I don't have this window cracked too wide open. But if someone's in their trailer and they got a TV on or whatever, or they're talking, whatever, they're definitely probably not going to hear this much. If you heard anything, it'd just be a mild, like, maybe like someone banging on something on their wall or something. I don't know. Probably not even that bad. What happened to him? Oh, you talking about Michael Hernandez? I don't know really exactly why. I mean, last year, I we'd been talking after a while, and he had sent me a birthday gift the year before, and then Christmas, and we had reconnected. He's old friend from when I grew up and stuff with me and mom, and I thought we were fine, but then I don't know. I asked him one day. I called him and was like, "You got Cash App?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll send you." And then I asked if he could send me something. I didn't ask for a specific amount. I said, "Anything you could send me would help me out till next week, and I'll send it back if you need it." And he's like, "I'll send you something when I get off work." That never came around, never happened, and he just stopped texting. He wouldn't answer. After that, he never would text me again. He wouldn't answer my phone calls. And I was like I texted him several times and was like, "Dude, if me asking for you to help me out was gonna make you not want to even talk to me, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was his old lady was like, I don't want you talking to him no more. But hell, he lived in another state. So to be honest with you, I really don't know. And I feel like we had known each other so long, and we were like brothers, man. We grew up together. My mom was like his mom. He lived with us for a long time. But after a certain point, you can't do you can only do so much. So I had I deleted his number, but then last Christmas, he texted me and was like, "Merry Christmas." And I recognized the area code, so I was like, "That's got to be Mike." And I said, "Oh yeah," And then I programmed it in, and then he messaged me again on Easter, and I've texted him several different times and tried to connect back since he reached out, but he won't respond. So the other day I was like, what's the point of me having a phone number for anyone? So I deleted the number again, but before I did that, I blocked him so that he can't even call me or text me. He'll have to use another number if he wants to talk to me. Anyway, that was sorry for the long explanation there, but that's kind of what happened. That is what happened. And I love the guy to death. I don't know, I wish I had, what I'm saying? I would have rather them saying, "Well, no, man, I can't help you out," and then it'd been fine. I don't know why there was an issue with me asking, "Hey, can you help me out till next week?" I wasn't on some hard drug and trying to get a fix or something. I was just needing a few, you know how it is. And he knew that. He knew that I'd been doing pretty good, and I have no idea. And then I feel like we had been so close at one time that he should have been, if he had been disappointed in anything I was doing or whatever, he should have been able to just say, hey man, this ain't cool, or you're going down the wrong way, or whatever, we were that close enough that he should have been able to. But I suspect there had to been maybe something dealing. I'm thinking it might have been his old lady for some reason didn't like him talking to me as much as he was talking to me. I don't know, which is weird. I don't know if you would be mad at someone communicate with their old bestest of friend brother, unless it's just you want only him having just a few you want to know everything they're doing, Anyway, enough of that. That wasn't I didn't bring that up because I didn't really bring it up to get on that tangent. I was just saying when I seen the name Michael, and I hope I didn't run Michael off. We all said hi to you, Michael, and if it is, for all I know, it could be. For a second, I thought, well, I wonder. Let's see. What am I gonna do? Wait. What am I gonna do? No, let's see. Where am I going in life? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? Who anyway, I was kind of rough there. That went to that was kind of rough. Yeah, that I don't know. Like a lot of times when him and I were talking, it was usually he was at work because he drove. He was like driving a truck, so a lot of times during the day he could just use his Bluetooth and talk while he's on the road or while he's like sitting and waiting to unload or pick up once he's got to a destination. So it wasn't like we were, but he had done a lot for me in the short time that we reconnected. He had, like I said, he sent me stuff. He sent me a pair of shoes that I couldn't wear because I told it after I didn't know he had sent them, but like I said, he had anyway. I figured sometimes I'm learning that people from my past that were really good friends that I've reconnected with over the past few years, I thought there was a reason, and we were supposed to be staying connected again. And so far, some of us have reconnected. I even got some of their numbers, but when I reach out to them, it's very rare they talk to me or reach back out. And then I start realizing, it's years. We've not been around each other in years. We're adults. We all have lives, Sometimes, unless you live right immediately in their same vicinity or you work with the person and you see them every day and you're able to see them that often, a lot of times you drift away and it's not that you don't care about people. It's just, it's hard to keep up with those kind of relations if other people at a distance aren't, connecting with you when you reach out. What bugs me the most is if someone from my past comes back and connects to me, and then we get to talking, and then everything's going good, and it's like old days, hanging out, and even if we're not in the same state or something, we're just talking and been like sharing memories of when we grew up or something. That's fun, but it's always weird that people reach out to me, reconnect with me, and then a short while later, they just drop off the face of the map again. And I'm talking too much, I think. But that, it's just me on a solo stream, guys. Yeah, Giddy, I'm glad you were able to catch me on. Yeah, I had just I was rereading what you had said about you'd tried to catch one, and then I commented I haven't been live since last week. And then I've been meaning ever since starting Monday, I was going to do one, I didn't. Because I'm coming up out of that little dark hole I was in last week. And so each day I'm just slowly trying to do a little bit more in the day than I was doing. Like last week, I pretty much didn't do hardly anything other than just exist. And that wasn't very fun. But, I go through that. Like I think a lot of people do. We go, especially when you have as much. Like I have so much time during the day to try to fill it with a lot of things, and I find myself procrastinating and not doing a lot of stuff sometimes, and then that gets you stuck in a rut mentally. So it's important to me to consistently keep striving to keep a routine of some sort and get even if it's not a whole lot during a day compared to some other people's days. Depending on what it is, if I've done a set number of things at a certain time during the day, I can at least feel like I'm not just existing anymore. Where I've crossed over and I feel like I've fulfilled some of the things that definitely I need to have done. I might not get everything done. There's not enough time in the day to probably do everything I should be doing. So the main thing is where I have faltered the most in the past several months is that I keep having bouts where I'll have a string of days where I go on a drinking binge, drink for 5 or 6 days, come up out of it, stay on track for however long, a few weeks, a month, however long, sometimes longer, a few months, whatever. And then one day I do that again, and then it, as long as that keeps happening, it's still going to take longer to get to wherever I'm going. So I don't know if I say, I don't recognize the name. I'm just now, I've always liked, like Japanese animation stuff and everything. And so, like, it's only been in the past so many years that I knew what manga was. And I never had an objection to it. But it's been recently, Gideon. So recently, I've gotten like I have some manga now that I'm getting. Like I knew about Chainsaw Man, but I just never had. Like I'd seen it at Walmart a few years ago and was like, "That looks fucking cool," Knew that there's been some fan anime, and now they had a season, and then they're doing another. I've seen that kind of stuff, and I like. So anyway, I've got a couple volumes of that now. Like the first couple volumes, I'm gonna continue with that because I'm enjoying it. But as far as the creators' names, I don't know. And I'm trying to think. But I'm gonna write that down. I haven't made any orders this month. I've already kind of overspent. I've done spent what I really can on like anything outside of like what I got left. I'm trying to just use for essentials and in case like if something comes up and I need something the next week, I still got enough to go get a few things. So let me see. So it's Junji Ito. But see here recently, I've been reading a lot about different creators. Like and I've got there's one that I've got that I'm recently got also, Blade of the Immortal, which is an older one, which, is like about samurais and stuff, but it's set in them, but it seems pretty cool. I started reading it just the other day, but I need to really kind of get back. So I wrote down that guy's name. Yeah, it's like, like I don't know what has changed since a few years ago, because, a few years ago I was doing really good. Like the first time I got almost a year completely no drinking, and then I got back, like I fell off, but I got right back on the whack. Like every time I drink, it's always like I drink for so many days in a row and then I stop again. But, it's like every time I do that, it kind of sets anything, it makes the progress I've made like set back a little bit. It's kind of like, what does it take? Two steps forward, one step back sometimes. Manga creator. Well, what sounds interesting is he said he's a manga. It's like horror. Yeah, and like, so I experienced a little bit of depression, and then that's how I started handling it, and that just made feeling depressed even more depressed. It's like that does not make it better. It seemed all right for a few days, but then the fifth or sixth day, it was like I was in a darker place than I'd started off with if I just left it alone. Anyway, that's when I need to be turning to God more, the big kahuna, reaching out more, like, and it never fails for me. And I'm not trying to preach to nobody or tell anybody anything other than for me, when my spiritual practice is out of line, like if I'm not continually on it, that doesn't mean going to church every week or doing all that kind of stuff. It means whatever you have going on with the Creator and how you incorporate it into your day and give honor. When we get out of sync from that, or at least I'll speak for myself, not me saying we, but Grey Cloud, when I stop doing things like getting up at a little earlier in the day, starting off with the videos, starting off with just enjoying a moment of silence before I do anything in the morning, giving thanks. If I stop doing that or getting on it firsthand, trying to start the day off, I slowly start putting a lot more stuff off, and before I know it, it's easier to talk myself into something that I might not shouldn't be doing. Like, well, let me go, today's a good day. I'm going to go get me one and drink it. Well, just because it's a good day doesn't mean I got to do something like that. If it's a good day, then why do I need to do that? And usually thinking that makes it a good day turns it into like a worse day for me a lot of time by the end of the day. Or the next day because of the way I feel. But the key to my success at staying, I don't know, somewhat consistent with what I'm doing is just pulling myself out of the gutter every time. Just like being quick on it, like being able to observe. I'm in a hole. I know I'm not handling it very well. Okay, it's time to get my ass out of here. Like pull up and, as simple as going live here right now, like today, like even if it's just for another 30 minutes or whatever. But there's been a few of you guys already, there's been several people watching, several people chiming in the chat, and I appreciate it. And I'm trying to keep it moving. I'm trying to keep the flow going. I don't know really. That's why I have this kit in front of me. So like if I get a little anxious or something. Yeah, that's the only thing I hate about it is a lot of things have that. It's like, see, that's when Gideon, I agree with you, but I think that's when if you'll think about what you just said, it makes sense to me to say, oh, hey, Victoria, what's up? Yeah, I'm glad I got that book. So, y'all guys, Victoria, I'd sent her a copy of the 50 Things That Really Matter also. Her and Teresa because I had 2 copies, only a couple. I would definitely dig her. I mean, I have a deep relationship with God, with the big kahuna, with Christ, Like, it's just that sometimes I still falter in my human form. Like my mind, like the mind is strong, and if you let it override, like you're right. Like when we give in to certain thoughts, yeah. I was trying to remember what I was trying to say here. Yeah, drinking usually makes things worse for me, but in the moment it makes it. Okay, Gideon, what I was saying is, yeah, in the moment it feels like it's making life better. But I think in that statement, like I can say that for myself too, but in that statement, that means there's something already. Isn't it weird? It feels like life is better in the moment when you're doing it, but you realize also in the moment when you're doing it that it's not properly the way to handle. Like if life isn't going so well and that's how we approach it and it makes it seem better in that moment, but only worse after that moment, it would stand to reason that we should one day go, this ain't working. But I keep fumbling myself. Yeah, it is going to be all right. And it's not all just drinking for me. It's like I can go months on end and have not had a drink, but there's still sometimes. What I have found is when I'm really doing good on not drinking, there'll be other avenues where other things will start being temptations, or, you know what I mean? Whether that be adult content online or seeking out the wrong type of companionship. Well, I mean, I don't ever have nowhere to go and do that, but you know what I mean? Just, there's a lot of different, or overeating, like being unhealthy by like just not being active and eating an unhealthy diet. I mean, I'm guilty of all the above, It's like I can try to narrow down and you cancel out a couple of things, and then it seems like And I think too, when we're doing the best, when we're doing better in our lives, and we're doing good for the greater good, the alternate side of that is not going to be very happy with that, and there's going to be resistance by throwing little hindrances there to consider. Oh well, I can or I can't do this. We all struggle with things. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Victoria. And yeah, Gideon has watched me for a while. Victoria's watched me for a while. Anybody that's watched me for a while has seen this happen numerous times from it. I mean, that's what I think that's why some people that do watch the channel consistently enjoy watching it, is because it's like, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. There may be times I'm not sharing every detail of what's going on, but definitely when I've went through a bout and you see that I'm not making videos very much, or I'm not going live very much, and I'm telling you in the videos that I do make, hey, I'm going through something, I'm struggling. It's not hard to put two and two together and figure it's probably, even if it's not drinking, there's still something that's interfering with me, that's bringing me down. And I've had like this, I felt like there was kind of just this weight on me recently, like and I just found out, not to sound strange, thanks, Gideon. Well, like yesterday, somebody had mentioned on Twitter, there's been a shift that's just happened. They were talking about like the energies and stuff have just shifted. There's been like and there's been kind of I don't know, I'm not trying to sound weird, but also kind of a shift in thinking and the consciousness. Also, there's been some, we're going through like different cosmic things that are happening, solar flares and all that. What I'm getting at is, when he was talking about there's just been a major shift happening, and he was talking about it's drained a lot of people. There's been a lot of people going through some similar things where there's been some up and downs and not like a consistency. And he was just talking about be careful and take care of ourselves, during this time of right after this shift, like. When I read his post, I had to comment because I know the brother and I know what he's talking about. And it made even more sense to me what has happened or what had happened the past few weeks. I hadn't really studied that area of it. I hadn't been looking at, okay, where's the moon at? Where's the this at? Where's that at, Or where's, like, I was so intertwined and turned inside somewhere and trying to avoid reality altogether, that, it's like I wasn't able to realize that there was also some other things maybe affecting why I was like the uneasiness and the weirdness that would lead me to wanting to, drink. Yeah. Well, see, like this brother that was sharing this yesterday was referring to our body. He was also saying like our bodies have just, like, it's drained us, going through like certain things that have just happened in the atmosphere, like just in the energy spectrum of life, in the things that are going on in society in general. He was just saying it's good for us to remember to recharge, to regroup, take care of our bodies as our temple, like because certain times of the year and certain times of history that we're involved in right now are very draining. Oh, okay. Gideon, have a good rest of the day. I'm going to be on here for a little bit longer. It looks like a few more people are watching now. What I might do is, I'm going to hit this, and then I might kick a little beat out again for a second. I'm trying to make it like, a little bit, just until somebody comes into the chat and brings up something specific that they need to talk about or want to bring up or have a question. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of like going wherever we're at. But like in it's nice to have something to turn to, like to break it up to. Like if I don't know exactly where I'm going from here in the conversation, it's nice to be able to like, oh, let me flip the camera around and play a little, bust a little beat or something. I even did that when I was just beating on the bucket. But it's also makes content if I highlight it. I can kind of narrow it down and turn them into shorts too of me just doing little. Anyway, I wasn't really feeling that right there, right then. Nothing was really. Yeah, Biddy's laying there. She's doing pretty good. She's been doing real good lately, ever since she came out of heat a few weeks ago. Well, before that, she was never really. It's just that when she was in heat, there was a couple of times she didn't want to come in. She didn't want to. There wasn't nothing I can do. I screwed up and never did get a collar and a cable or nothing. I've been meaning trying to figure out how. Now that I'm just down to her, what I was saying is she don't really run off much. Like I let her out. And where she goes is not very far. There's a little spot just down the road she likes to go to in the morning. It's like a little small creek or a body of water. Because every time when she comes back from like right down the road, she's always like wet or dirty. But that's about the farthest. Like she don't really. And then, but I've also said this before. When little big girl, if Biddy didn't ever really chase any vehicles, it was little big girl. But because she was younger, she would follow the lead of little big girl. And then little big girl wasn't chasing every car. But now you had Chewy that likes to chase these random. It wasn't just cars in and out of the trailer park. It was on the road. Cool. There was somebody that was it you? Somebody that's been in my chats and stuff had a cat that just had one cat recently, or was that you? And that was a cat a while back, or is that the same cat? See, I'm trying to remember. There's somebody that's been is fairly a regular or was a regular viewer and has also been in the chats. Okay, that's what I thought. So I was right. That's been a while back then. It's not recently, but that was months ago. And I remember you talking about she just had one. And I was talking about I had a cat one time that had one kitten, and it was a big old SOB. But yeah, that makes sense now, especially if it's the same cat. Well, that cat that I had that had one kitten, she did have kittens again at one point, and she had more than one. But I think it was just 3 the next time. But I had a cat that wasn't really mine, but I took care of her when I moved here in the trailer park. She had been a cat that just roamed around, and they called her Mama Cat. She had a litter of kittens here. She had one kitten, and that was all she had that day. I thought she was done, and then the next day she evidently she wasn't done, and I didn't know it could turn into something. I didn't know they could I didn't know it could go that way. That the next day she gave birth to 2 more kittens. I thought she just had one that day, and that's all she had. And then the next day, something started happening. I was like, what the heck? But I had to look it up because I was like, because the first one she had was so big, I thought, okay, well, she just had one cat. And that ain't the one I'm talking about. That, like, I'm talking about the other one years ago had one that was real big, like one cat. But that one was she had one that day, and then the next day she started going into, like, I didn't know what was happening because she started having another one. I thought something was wrong with her, and I was like, oh, she ain't done that. Yeah, when I looked it up, they said, it can happen, like with animals that carry multiple babies, that sometimes it can take long. Like they might not all come out within the same amount of time. It's like they could have one or two, like one day, start one day and have a couple, and then the next day finish it. It might go. You might think they're done, and if they're not, you might find it the next day going on. I still ain't figured out how to do what they call. How do they do it? How I can mirror this. Oh, I forgot I have a green screen. Well, might as well mess around while I'm doing this. I shouldn't have saved that little bit of it. This is something I downloaded as an image today, and then I wrote underneath it, comic book nerd lives matter. like people that are into comics or like geek culture or anything like pop culture, and their lives matter too. Oh, and I know there's them riots and everything going on out there. I'm not really keeping up with too much of it. That is almost distracting, though, isn't it? So let's just go back to it. But that's interesting. I need to remember that. That'd be a good one to, So I started. I've gotten actually into this now. I've went through all the prefaces and everything, and there's a lot to digest. But this Contract with God by Will Eisner, it's an old publication, but it's been reprinted a bunch. Really good art, and like it's in the storytelling's really enriching. It's like a lot of good in-depth story. And I'm just now getting into the part, where like the actual story is and stuff. And then, but apparently there's going to be 4 different like tales within this, but it all like centers in like around I think it's an area of the. It's an imaginary place, Dropsy Avenue, but it's set in the Bronx, and it's like, goes through 4 different stories about 4 different residents it's about these tenants in that area of the Bronx of like a building or the buildings that are right there that they rent and stuff. But it's like so far it's interesting. I really like it. I know that I never really took the time to understand what an Eisner Award was, but evidently an Eisner Award is based off of, because this guy, he kind of like brought forth he kind of revolutionized the idea of a graphic novel where you like literature and imagery going hand in hand together, like intertwined as it's a comic book, but it's like something geared towards a more mature audience. And like in this, obviously this book's going to be like, it's about life. People, it's kind of like he says in the preface, it's like he's took memories from his youth and stories he remembers and changed names and things like that. and like exaggerated certain things to tell a story, but some of it's based in things that he knew to be true, just changing of the maybe the the names and the way people like it's not none of it was meant to like be derogatory towards anybody. It's just what he remembered and stuff. But this has been pretty fun. I'm glad that I came on here. I didn't have a clue to. It's good to see that you're in the chat was available today, Victoria. That book, they said that book should be there by Monday, but you have the tracking number, so and the letter I wrote is just a sloppy little letter, and but I always wish sometimes like I want to make the package I send somebody like a more special thing, and it's like then it comes the time to get it out, to get to the mail and do it, and like I'm in a rush a lot of times, so I just do the basic, but it's okay. Oh. But I needed to come on and get here, do a stream for a minute, just to get myself geared up to do it. I want to try to get back in the swing of this. But the thing is also, right, well, I mean, if you kept that picture or you wrote down that number, you can, you know what I'm saying? In a day or two, you could check and see where it's at, like, see what's today, Wednesday. Like it actually might arrive before Monday. It's just, I don't know. At least if, like give it a couple of days, then I would track it and see where it's at, just to make sure it don't get lost. Because I know I had a package get intercepted here a month or two ago, and then I ended up with the empty box at some point after the company had done something, sent me a new package. But when I got the new package, the mail lady had the old package that someone had ripped apart, and there wasn't nothing in it. I just had the box. But I think what I'm going to do, I think I'll probably end this here at about now. We're right at an hour. That's a good, like, I'm jumping back in again. Like last week, I was trying to get the consistency back, and it just didn't happen. Like I just did like 2 streams, I think. And, but I was also going through some shit, like I really, I maybe only did 1 stream. I know I did a stream, and what I was trying to get myself back on going, and then I just fell off and didn't go back on. And I even stopped making a few videos, for a couple of days. I'm glad you caught it too. And Gideon, I was glad he caught it. He hadn't been in one in a while. He was telling me in a comment, like he used to be able to work and like listen or walk, like have something going in the background. And he said they're not too happy about that. So he was on lunch break today. I think Bleed Blue was in here for a minute, but I think he might have been at work too and is gone. And then we had at least one other person. I think there have been a couple people watching that didn't say something at some point. But anyway, we're right at an hour. I figure I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm going to see how the rest of my day goes. If in a few hours I've got the energy and I'm feeling good, I may arrange a stream where I use the StreamYard or Restream and see if somebody that I know wants to come on and be like, and we just hang out and talk about cool stuff or whatever, or find out more about each other. Somebody that maybe I don't know real well, but they got a YouTube channel or they have an account somewhere and they like to be on, do streaming. You've caught a few of those. I'm just going to see how I feel. I don't want to overdo it too quick, and like get into another funk too quick. I want to try to take this gradual and get like each day a little bit more going to where I'm just like back in a swing of, Yeah, Betty Spaghetti's kind of that way too. She said she used to go on a lot of panels, but like I think something happened. Uh, she came on one time, but like I was trying to put her thing up, she didn't want me to put her up on the screen. She just came in the studio. You can go into the back. I don't have to put someone up on the screen. But I didn't know she didn't want me to. I thought she was coming in because she was going to be on the. But I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I'm going to get off of here. This has been productive for me. Charge up my phone a little bit, and I'm going to kind of assess what I need to do. Like, there's a couple things I need to do to like probably do here in the trailer in the next hour or two. Whether I do it right this minute or not is irrelevant. But like, I'm just kind of going to look at what else I can do before the day's over to add to my productivity. Mila, I'm sorry. I'm getting off here right now. I might come back on later. I'm just sorry about that. I didn't, I'm wrapping it up. It's been an hour. It's been pretty good and stuff. And I just need to like stop for a minute and see what else I need to do. Like, and just kind of take my day, like pace myself, so, but, sorry about that. I got to stick to my guns on this one. I need to get out of here and do a few things. Okay. Just look for me. I might come on later. Bye. Hey, Peyton.